Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So it is really hard to believe, but it is already time to talk about the very first books that will be coming out in 2024. Yes, these are some of the releases that I found coming out in January of next year, I guess, because it is still 2023 right now. But as always, I like to get these videos out a little early so that you have an idea of what is coming out in the next month. And I found quite a few books coming out in the month of January, some of which I already have my hands on, which is pretty exciting, either via NetGalley or some early access. So I am pretty excited. As always, I'm going to try to keep most of these descriptions pretty short because I don't want to know too much about these books going in, and some of them may be sequels, so I don't want to reveal too much there either. So let's go ahead and jump in. So our very first release date is the 2nd of January, starting off the month nice and strong. And the very first one that I found was Midnight by Amy McCulloch, I think. And I believe she had a Book of the Month release last year, or this past year, with Book of the Month. So this one says, in this pulse-pounding thriller, a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Antarctica to camp beneath the legendary midnight sun becomes a desperate battle for survival against a killer determined to follow their prey to the ends of the earth. So, could be, pretty creepy, pretty isolated. The cover is quite chilling. Dare I be a little bit punny there, but yeah, it sounds really interesting. I want to say her other book was Breathless, if I am remembering correctly. Ooh, I was remembering correctly. So I've got it back here somewhere. But that one is coming out on January. I was almost going to say July 2nd. Next up, this is a debut that I found. And so don't have much to go off of, but this is Wild and Distant Seas, and this is going to be by Tara Carr Roberts. And it's going to be a gorgeous debut laced through with magic, following 4 generations of women as they seek to chart their own futures. And if I remember right, it is all focused on Nantucket, which normally when I'm reading books based on Nantucket, they're Ellen Hildebrand novels, but I think this one's going to be a little bit more like maybe whimsical, historical fiction-like, because I'm seeing an 1849 timeline, as well as, a few other different generations, timelines, and possibly it looks like Nantucket, Boston, Brazil, Florence, and Idaho. So we're gonna be jumping around a little bit. So a debut is never a bad thing. Love to discover new authors out there. So that is one I thought I would add to this list. After that, let's see, another debut. Must have been on the debuts when I was doing my research here. This one is called Rabbit Hole, and this is by Kate Brody. It says, a twisty debut exploring the dark side of true crime fandom and the blurry lines of female friendship, perfect for fans of Gillian Flynn, My Favorite Murder, and Fleabag. Now, I know Gillian Flynn. I don't know if I know the other 2 references there, but the little tagline here says, conspiracy theories from Reddit, I love reading Reddit stories, seduce a disaster-prone woman into an obsession with solving her older sister's cold case disappearance. So, could be for my fellow thriller lovers and, kind of crime, mystery, all of those good genres. Could be a debut to check out. So, thought that one sounded interesting. And then one that I have on NetGalley, also coming out on January 2nd, is Mercury, and this is by Amy Jo Burns, who I believe wrote Shiner, who I have not read that book yet, but I've heard many people recommend it. Someone in my book club talked about it, and now I can't remember who, but I know that was recommended. And so this one is a roofing family's bonds of loyalty are tested when they uncover a long hidden secret at the heart of their blue-collar town. So it looks like it's going to be based in 1990. I don't want to know too much else going into it, especially because I have this book, but kind of a different one. And it's coming out on January 2nd. So the next set of books is releasing on January 9th. And the very first one on January 9th is also another one I have from NetGalley, and I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. I think this might be the next book I pick up in my Kindle reads. I'm kind of doing an audiobook and a Kindle book. So, plus I have winter break coming up, so lots of time to read. I'm so excited. And this is The Heiress, and this is by Rachel Hawkins. I have typically liked everything that Rachel Hawkins has put out. I know she's been hit or miss for some others, but this one is a new twisted gothic suspense about an infamous heiress and the complicated inheritance she left behind. It says there's nothing as good as the rich gone bad. So I believe I saw that tagline on NetGalley and I was like, yes, I have to request that one. And I got lucky enough to get it. So I was pretty darn excited because it is so hit or miss when it comes to getting things on NetGalley. So once again, with thrillers, I don't want to know too much more, but like I said, I'll be picking that one up very, very soon. And then another one that I found coming out on January 9th was, and I don't even know how this one is going to be categorized, but this is called Unsinkable by Jenny L. Walsh. And it says, the Titanic was only the beginning. What she survived has become legend. Violet Jessup is Miss Unsinkable. And I think this is going to be like multiple perspectives because then it says Daphne has survived calamity of her own. So, oh, it says it's historical. It's going to be a standalone. And let's see. Inspired by true stories of Violet Jessup and the 39 women of the Special Operations Executive, 2 unsinkable women, 2 stories of survival, family, and finding one's own happiness. One connection that reshapes both of their lives forever. So, I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, I hadn't heard of anything else like that before, so I had to put that one on the list. Then, the next set of books comes out on January 16th. So, this first one, I am almost positive it's going to be a re-release. I think the cover has changed. I'm wondering if the publisher has changed. I couldn't find much about it other than it was relisted on NetGalley and it does have a re-release date on Amazon, and that is The Worst Best Man by Lucy Score. Now, I've had hit or miss experiences with Lucy Score, but I know a ton of people really enjoy her writing. And so I wanted to mention this one. And this sounds like it is quite the experience. It says, the bride is a doll, the groom is the perfect gentleman, but maid of honor Francesca Baranski takes her duties seriously. There's no way she's going to let that pretentious, judgmental jackhole ruin her best friend's wedding. So there's a lot more to it. But so it does sound like it's going to be funny. Like I said, I think I've actually only read one book by Lucy Score. It wasn't my favorite. I read it for book club, but I know a lot of people that like her. And this one sounds like it could be kind of funny. So like I said, I believe it's going to be a re-release on the 16th. Also coming out on the 16th, which I happen to luckily have over here on my shelves, and that is The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I'm never gonna figure out how to pronounce that, and I'm trying to get it. This cover is kind of strange. Audrey from Chapter and Verse and I were just talking about this, but I entered a random Book Riot giveaway, and like I said, I like to enter a lot of random things, and I just happened to win this one. So this showed up in my mailbox. I was pretty excited. And this one says it is going to be a masterfully paced thriller about a reclusive ex-movie star and her famous friends who apparently, after school on a Monday, the week before Christmas, I can't talk, whose spontaneous trip to a private Greek island is upended by a murder. So, and actually the very first tagline on the back of the book here says, this is a tale of murder. So, if that doesn't scream something that I want to read, I don't know what does. So, I'm really excited to pick this one up. And like, who doesn't love a good floppy paperback? I don't even know if that's what it's gonna be like when it's published, but I will take it. I was so very excited about that. So that one's coming out on the 16th. Alrighty. Up after that, once again, I got so lucky with some NetGalley releases in January. Oh my gosh. Did I say November at one point? Like I said, my brain. But January 16th, Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. I have enjoyed the 2 other books by Stacey Willingham that I have read, and so I got lucky enough to get this one on NetGalley as well. And it says it's going to be a sharp and twisty exploration of female friendship. And let's see, we've got 2 main characters, Lucy and Margot. It's going to be a thriller about the nature of friendship and belonging, about loyalty, envy, and betrayal. So, and they say this author is quickly becoming the gold standard for psychological suspense. So, I don't want to know too much more, but if you've liked what Stacey Willingham has put out before, there's another one coming out for you on the 16th. So, and then finally, one of the last books that I found out coming out on the 16th is The Search Party by Hannah Rickle, I believe it is. And this one caught me because it says it's going to be kind of like a locked room mystery. So this one says it is a spellbinding locked room mystery about a glamping trip. Y'all know I love my camping trips, although I'm sure it could be considered that I glamp a little bit more than I camp. But a glamping trip gone horribly wrong when a powerful storm leaves the participants stranded and forced to confront long-held secrets and a shocking disappearance. So, sounded great to me. Had to add it to my list. Y'all know a good thriller is going to catch my eye. But another book, and this must be an indie release because this one I found coming out on January 18th. Now, I could not find this one on Amazon. So I am wondering if this one is going to change, but I did find it on Goodreads, and I'll obviously link it below. And on Goodreads, it does still say it's coming out on January 18th. And this is The Secret Book Club by Shauna Robinson. So I believe she has written other things. And now, of course, when I go to find them, it will not show me, but I digress. And this basically is going to be about a woman who is running a bookstore, which sounds amazing. But this bookstore does not let her sell anything that is written in this century. So, but she thinks rules are made to be broken. And what a better way to break tradition than by starting an underground book club. So I thought that sounded kind of fun and, you know, a little bit different and outside of my normal realm of thrillers. So I am hoping that that one still decides to come out in January. But like I said, those dates could be shifting. But as of right now, Goodreads does still say January 18th. So we shall see. Coming out on January 23rd, one that I am sure many people probably already got their hands on if you are interested in thrillers at all. And I'm just looking for my copy. And that would be No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. I believe this is her second dive into adult thrillers. And this one says 3 sisters, 2 murders, and too many secrets to count. So, let's see. One of the sisters has no options other than to return to the house that her and her sisters still own where her parents were murdered. So, Book of the Month put this one out as an early release in December, but it is coming out on December 23rd if you didn't get a chance to pick it up early. So, I did enjoy the last one that she put out, and I did like the one YA book that I've read from her as well, even though it was kind of weird, but I did enjoy it. So that one's coming out on the 23rd, as well as, let me pull up my list here, one from an author that I've never heard of before. Not to say they haven't written anything, but this one is called The Light of the Fire, and this is by Sarah Lynn Bruck. So it says, in this heart-trending story about healing from past mistakes, Two estranged friends face the 20-year-old accident that forced them apart and the consequences that secret still haunts them. So I'm wondering if this is going to be a little bit more like literary fiction, but it just sounded kind of interesting. The cover is gorgeous. And basically it says, as their secrets come back around to threaten their futures once more, they will have to decide whether to run away from the truth again or face it once and for all. So I thought it sounded kind of interesting, so I had to add it to my list. And then the last book that I found coming out on the January 23rd. I am so afraid that I've been saying these wrong, but I'm sure y'all will let me know in the comments. And that is The Breakup Tour, and this is by Emily Wimberly and Austin Siegmund Broca. This is giving me like very Taylor Swift vibes, but it says, a rising star musician has a second chance at love with an old flame she remembers all too well in this swoony romance from the acclaimed authors of The Roughest Draft. Now, I haven't read The Roughest Draft, but I've definitely heard about it. So it caught my eye. I'm not gonna lie, I liked the Taylor Swift movie, so I had to add that one to the list. And then the last set of books is coming out on January 30th. The first, which should be of no surprise to those of you that are fantasy fans, and this one is The House of Flame and Shadow, which is the third book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. Sarah J. Maas, sorry. And I have not read anything by Sarah J. Maas, I will admit. But I do have some of her books on my Kindle. But I know this is the third in the series, so I don't want to say too much about it, but I know there are tons and tons of people looking forward to this one. So it says it's going to be the stunning third book in this action-packed series that followed the global bestsellers of The House of Earth and Blood and The House of Sky and Breath. So that is all I will say about that one, but I am sure it needs no introduction for those people that are fans of that one. Following that, one book that I should say I'm looking forward to, even though I haven't read the first one yet, but I've heard really good things about the first one. So, and this book is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. And this book is by Benjamin Stevenson. He actually wrote, and I know it's back here, it's way down here at the bottom of this pile. He wrote, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Somebody. Or someone, and I haven't read it yet, but I've heard really good things. I think Lindsay's Little Library has said really good things about it. I think even her daughter read it. So this is another book by that same author, and it says this is going to be a fiendishly, whew, now that is an adjective, fun locked room murder mystery. This time set on a train full of mystery writers, agents, editors, and fans. So we've got a whole character's worth of people, and how can you find a killer when all the suspects know how to get away with murder? So sounds interesting to me, and like I said, since I know a lot of people have liked the first one, we'll see how this one goes. So, and then the final book that I found coming out on January 30th, by no means is this a complete list, is Canadian Boyfriend, and this is by Jenny Holiday. And this hockey romances have been really big lately, from what I understand. Not that I've read a bunch of them, but from what I can understand. And this says, fate brings together a ballet teacher and a hockey player in this big-hearted novel about second chances and taking risks by the best-selling author Entertainment Weekly calls the master of witty banter. And I do love a little bit of witty banter, so who knows, that could be a romance that I might pick up. So those are all the books that I found coming out in the month of July. Like I said, this is nowhere near a complete list, but just things that kind of caught my eye, or I thought all of you might find interesting. Are there other books that you know of coming out in the and I just said July, didn't I? Oh my gosh, the month of January. Oh, you can tell it is the week before Christmas, and I work in a middle school. It is the month. These are all the releases coming out in the month of January. I hope you all enjoy watching me fumble through all of these different mistakes in this video. I am so sorry about that. Oh my goodness. As always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.